Geoffrey Hinton, one of the godfathers of AI, has left Google to speak openly about the risk of artificial intelligence. Hinton, who contributed to the creation of ChatGPT and Google Barbie, now has concerns about the competition between Microsoft's OpenAI-infused Bing and Google, which could lead to a world filled with fake imagery and text, making it hard to discern truth. Hinton also fears the long-term impact of AI on job loss and the potential threat to humanity as AI starts to write and run its own code. So do you think AI is going to take over the world? That's my question to you.
Well, all I can say is just hearing you say that blurb, it is really the beginning of a sci-fi plot, because there's always the one guy who's like involved and he knows the secrets and he's like, you guys should be scared.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as that happens, that's like the first horseman of the apocalypse, right? Like that's it. But I think it's interesting because it's like there's all that's going on with the AI element of the writer's strike right now.
Yeah.
The writer's strike. And they're saying, like the studios were not responsive to their desire to regulate the AI in terms of like someone going in and saying, okay, well, this part of the screenplay sucks. Let's just get the AI to punch it up.
Yeah.
And so it completely devalues, my entire profession. And so I think, but then it's like we all want to also think like, oh, they couldn't do what I do.
Yeah, I know. And that's what my dad would say, or other people would say, like, it doesn't have a soul. I'm like, but if once it has enough data.
Yeah, but it's also like, okay, it doesn't have a soul, but the way that, you already would write like a Hallmark rom-com is a formula. They don't really have souls. It's about, it's about really finding your soul in the heart of love. But no, it's soulless. And on page 13 of the screenplay is when there's going to be an inciting incident. When it's going to happen.
I know.
That to me is like, okay, maybe like the boring work could go to AI, but I don't want to be replaced.
Yeah, and that is kind of what it's like, the boring, easy, just task work. It's just like, obvious. You're right. So things that didn't have a soul. So that part of Hollywood where it was like just very formulaic, and you just like plug in like, right, this is the climax, this is where this goes, and then boom, screenplay. I know a guy, and that gets made. And so now that's just going to be AI. But if you, I guess, have a real craft and have real opinions and you're really good, you still get to the top? Will there be like less people, less jobs maybe then?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. It seems it's a very strange landscape, and I'm interested in looking at it. And I think it's somewhat alarming, but also like, I don't think that humans will let it happen. Like, I feel like because we're all going to be so biased, like the minute you're told, oh, this was made by AI or whatever, you're like, oh, it sucks.
Yeah,
Being told like, I don't know, it's the opposite, but in the same family as like when you look at a painting and you're like, and they're like, oh, this was made by an elephant. You're like, oh, I like it now, because like it would be shitty if a man made that, but an elephant did it, so it's cool. So it's like the inverse of that is, this screenplay was written by AI. Oh, I hate it.
Yeah. This was made by a human, and then even though it sucks, it doesn't matter because we're flipped on the other side of that time. Maybe AI is making really good stuff, and the humans make, but you want that instead.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy how it's going to go. What sometimes I think, and this is how I think business is happening anyways, and the pandemic showed this, so many people in jobs, especially like huge corporate jobs, don't have a job. They're kind of useless. They're like middlemen. They're not really, if you would pull them out, like nothing would change. And is that possible that it's also happening in the creative, in the arts, where there's so many people that aren't really making anything great anyways? It's their job. They're like, I'm an artist. Like, are you? Really? You're really just doing what we think AI could do anyways. You're not that good. And then they're like, I lost my job. Like, no, you were a bad artist. Is that
you were bad?
You were a bad artist. Like, you were a bad business manager. You were just not good at your jobs. That's why you're losing your jobs, not because AI came and took everyone's jobs.
Right. Yeah, like AI doesn't have soft skills.
Soft skills. Oh, and that's definitely a corporate term.